Hello and welcome to the 8th grade math practice. In this lesson, we're going to review the relationships among vertical angles, adjacent angles, supplementary angles, complementary angles, and last but not least, measure angles less than 360 degrees. So let's go ahead and begin this lesson. Number 1. In which diagram do angle 1 and angle 2 appear to be vertical angles? So if you take a look here, we have this keyword vertical. And so remember, vertical angles are those angles that are directly opposite each other. They are congruent, meaning that they share the same measure. Okay, so knowing that information, which one of these answer choices matches that description? So looking at letter choice A, that doesn't match. These angles are not directly across each other, or they're not direct opposites of each other. What about question choice B? Yes, this is the correct answer choice, because if you take a look at angles 1 and 2, they are directly opposite each other, so that means they are congruent. Okay, so let's move on to question number 2. So question number 2, which pair of angles are supplementary? Okay, so remember, supplementary simply means that two angles add up to 180 degrees, forming a straight line. Okay, so knowing this information, which answer choice fits the description? So if we take a look at answer choice A, we have 35 degrees and 55 degrees. So that doesn't add up to 180 degrees. Let's take a look at 134 degrees and 56 degrees. So let's go and add these two values together. So 134 plus 56, that's 190 degrees, so that doesn't fit the description. Let's take a look at answer choice A. We have 40 degrees plus 40 degrees, which is 80 degrees. That doesn't match the description. And last but not least, let's add 138 degrees and 42 degrees together. And that is 180 degrees. So answer choice D is the correct answer choice here. So let's move on to question number 3 here. So number 3, which of the following could be the measurements of two supplementary angles? Okay, so here we are looking for the measurements of two supplementary angles. So remember, those measurements add up to 180 degrees, forming a straight line. Okay, so answer choice A. So 9 degrees and 81 degrees. Well, this is not supplementary, right? Because this adds up to 90 degrees. What about 81 degrees and 81 degrees? That's 162 degrees. That doesn't match the description. And we have answer choice C, 91 degrees and 89 degrees. So let's go ahead and add those two values together. So we have 91 plus 89. So that's 10. So that's 180 degrees. So answer choice C is the correct answer choice. And if you were to add 119 degrees and 81 degrees, I believe that gives us 200 degrees. Let me just double check that. Plus 81. So that's 10, 8, 9. So that's 200 degrees. Okay, so answer choice C is the correct answer choice here. So let's move on to question number 4. Number 4, it tells us observe the angles below. Okay, so we are to observe the angles here. And we also have to identify each angle that is adjacent to angle 4. So notice this word adjacent. So this simply means next to, okay? And so what I want you to do here is look for angles that are next to angle 4, okay? So that means they share common sides. All right, so let's outline angle 4 here. So this is angle 4. Okay, and so we see angle 4 here. Now we have a side here, and this side is with this angle here, or goes with this angle here, which is angle 3, right? So that means angle 4 is adjacent to angle 3. What else? So we have to look for another angle that's adjacent to angle 4. And we can see that angle 4 shares a side with angle 2, because if you finish extending this is angle 2. So these are the two angles, angle 3 and angle 2 are adjacent angles to angle 4, okay? So we have angle 2 and angle 3. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to question number 5. So it says, in this figure, the measurement of angle 1 is 115 degrees. Angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. What is the measure of angle 2? Okay, so here we are told that angle 1 is equal to 115 degrees. So let's go ahead and label that. Let me outline that a little bit better. So angle 1 is 115 degrees. That's what we're told. Okay, and then it says angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. So let's take a look at these two angles here. So we have angle 2 and we also have angle 1, and they're vertical angles. And we can see that because remember, vertical angles are simply angles that are directly opposite each other. Okay, and so now the question asks us, what is the measure of angle 2? So we know that vertical angles are directly opposite each other, but we also know that vertical angles are congruent, meaning they share the same measure. So that means that angle 2 is equal to 115 degrees, okay? So answer choice D is the correct answer choice. So let's move on to number 6. So for number 6, it tells us to label each angle with its measure. Okay, so it looks like we're not given a lot of information to solve this. However, we're given enough. So if you take a look at this straight line right here, part of this line is 149 degrees. And what do we know about straight lines? Well, they form straight angles which measures 180 degrees, correct? So if we see that we have 149 degrees here, well, let's find out what the measurement of this part of the line is. So we will need to subtract 149 degrees from 180 degrees, right? So that's 180 degrees minus 149 degrees. And so that is equal to 31 degrees, all right? So that means this angle here is 31 degrees. Okay, so now another thing I want to share with you is that you have enough information to find out what this angle measurement is and what this angle measurement is. Okay, so if you take a look here, we can see that we have vertical angles, right? So we have this angle that's directly opposite this angle, right? So what does that tell us? Well, remember, vertical angles share the same measurement. Remember, when they're directly opposite each other, they share the same measurement. So that means that this is also 31 degrees. And what about this angle right here? Well, directly opposite of that is 149 degrees. So remember, these are opposites, direct opposites of each other. So this is also 149 degrees. And so we've labeled each angle with its correct measurement. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to number 7. So number 7, which is closest to the measure of angle XYZ? So let's take a look at this measurement here. So we have a protractor and we are looking for the closest measure of angle XYZ. So if you take a look, you can immediately eliminate answer choices A and B. All right, and you can see that this measurement is like right in between 155 degrees and 160 degrees, so about 158 degrees. So we can eliminate answer choice D. And the correct answer here is answer choice C, because this is about 158 degrees. Okay, so let's move on to question number 8 here. Number 8. Which statement below could be true? Okay, so let's look at our answer choices here. And for answer choice A, it says angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles. Okay, so are angle 1 and angle 2 vertical angles? They are not. They share a common side. They're right next to each other, so that is incorrect. They're in fact adjacent angles, so let's mark off answer choice A as being incorrect here. What about angle 3 and angle 6 are complementary angles? So we have angle 3, which we're told is a right angle or 90-degree angle, and directly opposite is angle 6. So that is also 90 degrees because remember, they are direct opposites of each other. They share the same measure. 90 plus 90 is 180, so that is incorrect. So let's move on to answer choice C, which says angle 1 and angle 5 are complementary angles. So we have angle 1 and we have angle 5. Now this could be true because we can say that since we know that complementary angles add up to 90 degrees, we can say angle 1 is approximately 40 degrees and angle 5 is 50 degrees. So we'll give it that. We'll say that answer choice C is the correct answer choice here, but for peace of mind, let's see what answer choice D says. Angle 4 and angle 5 are supplementary angles. So if we look at angles 4 and 5, you can see that they share a common side. They're right next to each other, so they're adjacent angles, right? So that means answer choice C must be the correct answer choice. Okay, let's move on to question number 9. Number 9. In the figure shown, angles 1 and 2 are complementary angles. The measure of angle 1 is 40 degrees. What is the measure of angle 2? Okay, so they're actually telling us that angles 1 and 2 are complementary angles, meaning that they will add up to 90 degrees, right? So we're also told that the measure of angle 1 is 40 degrees, so let's label that. And we're asked, what is the measure of angle 2? Okay, so since we know that they add up to 90 degrees, well, it only makes sense to subtract 40 from 90. And when you do that, you get 50 degrees. So that means the measure of angle 2 is 50 degrees, which is answer choice B. Okay, and let's move on to question number 10, which is our final question here. Okay, for question number 10 is asking which could be the measure of a reflex angle. So we have this keyword reflex. Okay, so remember, reflex angles are simply angles whose measurements are greater than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. So which one of these answer choices matches the description? So it's not answer choice A because that 80 degrees is not between 180 and 360 degrees. 179 degrees, that is incorrect. Now, answer choice C does fit the description because remember, I just said reflex angles have to measure greater than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. So answer choice C is the correct answer choice. And D is out of the question because this is exactly 360 degrees. Okay, so that's all we have for this lesson. I hope it was helpful to you, and I look forward to working with you in an upcoming lesson. Take care.